Yeah?
Yeah. South Park, The Stick of Truth on Xbox 360. Is this on your list?
My number one also, yeah.
Fantastic. So, this is, as everybody I'm sure knows, the very long-awaited RPG from Obsidian, written by Trey and Matt of South Park fame, obviously. And it's the kind of open-world RPG with turn-based battles version of South Park. And I myself, I kind of loved South Park when it first came out. I think I was about 15, 16 years old, and I was obsessed with it. Loved the movie, just kind of drifted out of it. I've got no problem with the show at all, but I'm amazed at how long it's still been going. But instead of watching it, I these days just seem to be fed what happens by other people, which is obviously never as good as actually watching the show, because they try and recreate it for you, and obviously that's no fun at all. But I was still very excited to play this game, just because I just liked the idea of it. I liked the way it looked. I liked what I'd seen in clips. I wasn't expecting it, however, to be absolutely, just from beginning to end, absolutely hilarious. One of my most enjoyable gaming experiences I've had in a long time. From the opening bars, it's not bars because it's not music, the opening lines, where you as the new kid, the fucking opening class selection, where was it? You pick between warrior, thief, mage, and then Jew, which is just straight away you know what you're in for. I'd forgotten about all of that stuff in South Park. And then just straight into the kind of fantasy about the Stick of Truth, where Cartman, it's basically like a Lord of the Rings / Game of Thrones / Skyrim fantasy RPG parody piss take, where the boys are playing a big LARP, like that fucking movie Role Models, isn't it? Across South Park. But that does a great job of setting up all the jokes, setting up the gameplay as well, so everything kind of ties in. It's just really clever stuff. And then the game itself is like a combination of, you can walk around South Park that looks exactly like it does in cartoons, pin sharp. Frame rate's occasionally a bit dippy, but I still think it's great. The environment's not huge, but it's really dense. There's loads of detail, loads of characters that you'd recognise, even I recognised. And just it's kind of tactile as well. You can walk around hitting everything, hitting the post boxes and the things you get the newspapers out of, and everything kind of snaps or falls over or bends. So that was quite good. And so you've got that element. Then you've got the battles. So it's an RPG. So a lot of the game you spent battling other things, and it's kind of like a fairly simple turn-based battle, like you played in many RPGs. I've heard a lot of people refer to it as like Paper Mario. I've never really played Paper Mario, so I wasn't sure about that. But it has the turn-based stuff that you'd see in a Final Fantasy, but there's an element of skill to it as well, where you have to time button presses for blocks, and all your attacks involve a sort of small type QTE type thing. I thought they're really good. I don't think they're hugely deep, but one thing they did manage to be is funny. Genuinely funny. All the attacks, it's you and a buddy, so you as the new kid / douchebag, and then different buddies throughout the game. At the beginning it's Butters, who's when I watched South Park a lot, Butters wasn't in it, but he's definitely my all-time boy. And just everything. The first thing that really cracked me up at the game, and I had to pause it, is very early on in the game, and this isn't spawning a joke because that's criminal. It's not even a joke. Very early on in the game, you have to go and get something from some meth heads down in the opposite side, the other side of the tracks, the poor part of South Park. And so you get into a battle with these methods, and immediately one of them just threw a broken bottle in Butters' face, and just the whole image of that happening just fucking it slayed me, and I had to pause the game. And it just never really let up. I have to say, I was really upset by the Ubisoft's decision to censor certain scenes in the game. Just a maddening decision for multiple reasons. One, I don't like censorship anyway, but two, it's fucking South Park, so you know what you're getting into. It's not like it's not been around for 17 seasons. And three, there's stuff in the game that's clearly has offended. Where do you draw the line? You're not going to be offended by stuff that is in the game, but you are going to be offended by what they censored in these scenes. I mean, I can't imagine someone that being their life. I don't know. The whole thing is just maddening. But thankfully, the text that comes up on screen, which is written by the guys, is still pretty funny. So you just about get away with it, and there's so much content and so much humour in the game that it eventually doesn't matter. But yeah, I just thought it was an absolute triumph. I just absolutely loved it from beginning to end. Just hilariously funny, just a riot, fun to play, really dense, good side quests, just funny things happening. The places that it takes you are something else, to say the least. And I just have many memories of laughing out loud to South Park: The Stick of Truth. I thought it was absolutely cracking.
Yeah, I mean, I've only done around. I think I'm at around the halfway mark, from what I understand. But so far, it's basically an unqualified success. The only benefit, I haven't had the frame rate issues that you've had. The only benefit, I think, to it being on next-gen consoles would be shorter loading times, because I think there are quite a lot of loading times, and they do break it up quite a bit. But as you said, it really does look like an episode of the cartoon. They have sort of really made it does look very, very good. I suppose you could say it's an RPG by numbers, because it does tick all of the boxes you expect.
Yeah.
And because of how customizable everything is, and how the kit isn't locked to classes, are the classes just pointless?
I think they have different special attack. You know, the special attacks that you do, where you have a certain amount of PP points, and you can do those special. Right. I think the different classes have different special attacks. I think, yeah. But yeah, it does seem it seemed like it's basically there for that gag at the beginning. But yeah, that's fine.
That's fair enough. Exactly. It's clear that Trey Parker and Matt Stone understand video games, because their fingerprints are all over it, and they have maintained control. In ways that most people, I probably wouldn't care enough to do, or wouldn't be mad enough to attempt to do, because it is a truer extension of the TV program than I was expecting it to be. And there are some, I mean, I've laughed the whole time. But so far, I think if you're a fan, go and get it. It's as a tie-in, especially of a comedy. I can't think of anything that's worth comparing it with, because I think it's because they've clearly kept it, that they've clearly worked so closely on it, that it is, like I said, a very, very true extension of the program.
Yeah, all I can remember the whole time when I was playing it is just constantly saying to myself, "This is amazing. I love this game." I must have said that to myself about 30 times. So that's a ringing endorsement as far as I'm concerned.